is Jim Krenn, No Restrictions, recording at John Vento's studio. My partner, John Vento, Jim Pitulski, taking care of all the sound and producing. And we have a special guest today, my buddy, a comedian, great friend, Mark Eddy is joining the show. Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, man. How are you? Great to be here.
I can't wait to talk about all the things that you've gone through as of recent.
Yes.
John, it's kind of cool. We're getting a little healthy now, trying to get a little healthy.
Trying to, yeah.
I have this, my girlfriend's one of the great chiropractors in the city, in the country. She's amazing. I've seen it. The testament of people, the way they talk about her, healing. And she broke her foot last year and she went to this chiropractor. And I said, well, she's that, respected. And she goes to this guy, Dr. Bowden in Butler. And so and he is amazing. This guy is so inspirational in healing. He's one of the best I've ever, he's amazing. I went out and they're doing these things. Because you always think chiropractor, you think adjustment, and real, but that's not what it is.
Not an attitude
they're
adjustment,
holistic doctors of everything. That's part of them, and they're really good.
Right.
But they have all these different cutting edge medical machines. I guess I would call them, like piezo wave, PEMF, electromagnetic.
Yeah, I do PEMF. Yeah.
You know all. You're in the cutting edge.
Things,
you got me into this too.
Cryo. Remember we used to go do the
cryogenic. But he has me doing all these things. And the first time I went, he said, let me try this on your knees. I was just waiting for Michelle. I go, all right, I have arthritis in my knees. I was able to do knee bends that day. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it for anyone out there who's listening and they're in some pain or from arthritis or something. I saw a guy who was on a walker about a month later walking around. Mm-hmm. He was golfing.
Wow.
He was golfing. This is what this guy does. Yep. So John was saying his knees had been bothering him back for a while.
Yeah.
And he said, and I sent him yesterday, and you loved him.
I was there
right?
2 days ago.
You loved him, right?
Absolutely. I call him a mad scientist. And we even asked him, why don't we know you? Why don't you advertise? And of course, he had a great answer. He said, I can't even keep up with my referrals.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Right. It reminded me of my dad, a landscaper years ago. Dad, why don't we have our name on the truck? He said, why would we want to do that when we can't keep up with the jobs we already have?
Yeah.
When you're that good, the word gets around.
And it's
right.
a different kind of experience I've ever experienced. This guy treats you like you're the only patient he has.
Yep.
And he has, like you said, he has all these different patients. He gives you time. You get everybody gets time. Wow. And it is one of the greatest experienons of my life. Dr. Gary Bowden, he's in Butler, PA. I can't say enough about him. I want to just, if anyone's out there is hurting, I just wanted you to know there's other routes besides surgery or other things.
Or pills.
Right.
Your pills. Try Dr. Bowden first.
Right.
I sent 2 people to him already. And we want to thank Dr. Bowden for sponsoring our podcast today.
Oh, yeah, man.
Just a joke.
Saying, I know. He's worth it. There he is.
I want to say I'm sitting at this table with 2 of my favorite guys and dear friends, and 2 of the most talented dudes I know, Jimmy and Mark. They got hearts that are bigger than this whole Pittsburgh area. So I'm honored to be at this table with you guys. I mean that.
Thank you, brother.
And you guys know I mean that.
I love you, John.
Speaking of hearts, John, one of the reasons...
Let's go right into it.
One of the reasons I want to have Mark on is because a lot of people... Now, Mark's been on the show before, and, we've worked together for years. Mm-hmm. And Mark's just one of the funniest men in the country. One of the most respected touring acts in the United States. Headlines every club, every major club and theater in the country. He lives in both L.A. and here in Pittsburgh. He's from Steubenville originally, Steubenville guy. So he's within the region. He's in the Yinzer region, Yinzer country.
I'm a Yinzer.
So we're close friends, and one of my best friends in the world, and like family. And him and his beautiful wife Cindy. So anyway, I was doing a show up in June. And I was real excited because it's a cool venue. One of the coolest in the city right now is the City Winery in the Terminal Building in the Strip. Yep. So I was so excited because Mark is going to perform with me. And I love working with Mark because we have a blast. We laugh. We do songs together. Yeah. It's a party. So I'm like so fired up for the show. And Dave Settlemar, our agent, the greatest, the best agent in the world. So he calls me and says, Jimmy, Mark can't do the show. And I'm like, oh, great. He must have picked up a corporate that pays a ton of money or something. They go, no, he's got to go into heart surgery. I'm like, I almost fell over because Mark's like in shape. Yep. Like he's like an athlete because he has type 1 diabetes. And one of the things with that is I've noticed since he was a kid, he said he had but he always
train like an athlete.
He makes me work out. Like I go out to LA, it's like my training.
Yeah.
So for 2 weeks, I'm in boot camp with him.
You are.
I'm so sore at the end of 2 weeks.
We walk all over Valencia. Yeah.
We walk everywhere.
Yeah.
But he's an athlete. He watches what he eats. The whole thing. I'm like, oh my god, if this happens to Mark, I'm like worried about my heart. I'm walking up steps to check.
Oh, it's a legitimate.
I'm cutting out all my. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, but it ended up being like
on a carb ratio.
Thank God, successful. But it wasn't. I mean, a stent is still tough. I mean, I'm sorry, any surgery is tough.
Yeah, anything.
But this ended up being open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Mark, you take it. You tell us.
Well,
what happened on your end? Tell me the story. Tell John and
it's the
Jim
craziest
and the
thing. First of all, I came back here a little over a year and a half ago to look after my mother. She's been, ill health and, getting older, really slowing down. So I just kind of felt like I needed to be here more often.
Right.
So I even bought a place out by the airport so I can fly back and forth to LA and, still do some gigs and stuff like that. And I find myself around Pittsburgh more. So I switched everything over, like starting a year ago. All my doctors, I got my old endocrinologist back.
Okay.
From Shady Side.
It's like you got the band back together.
I did. I got the band back together. I really did. Dr. Ball, he's amazing, endocrinologist.
And keyboard player.
I had just so many. All my people.
Your team.
Right.
Your
exactly.
team.
And Michelle referred me to a chiropractor out by. Out in Swickley, actually.
Out in Swickley, okay.
And so anyway, I'm getting this whole thing, and one of the guys is a cardiologist, knows my family, knew my brother, my mom, everything. So I go to this guy. Literally, now I started working out because I picked up some weight. So I started working out with a trainer, really good trainer. Okay. His
he sound like
Ty.
Arnold? Okay, I pictured German. Okay.
Yeah, no, Ty Fisher.
Okay.
He and his beautiful wife, Scarlett. Fisher, they're down in Corey. They got a gym called Fit for Life.
See, you can't cheat.
Look them up; they're phenomenal.
You can't cheat on sit-ups with personal.
No, you cannot cheat on sit-ups with a personal trainer. So we're training for like a little over 2 months, actually. Okay. And I'm taking a little bit of weight off, but not, and then, and Ty just made a real simple comment. He just goes, I'm really. He said your strength and your stamina is not really. It's not really coming about, the way it should, and it probably has to do with your diabetes. And I said, yeah, probably, because I was having some ups and downs, things were going on. And he goes, yeah, he goes, just curious, when's your next cardiologist appointment? And
wow.
I said, yes.
That's scary when a trainer said
the trainer said, I go, well, I said,
wow.
I said, ironically, day after tomorrow. I said, I got an appointment Friday.
And God works in mysterious
ways. He goes, okay. He said, well, keep that appointment. He said, we're going to take it real slow, though. He said, we're just going to slow it down a little bit. We did some stretching, some yoga moves. Really good trainer. He just was real in tune with me. And next thing you know, I go to the cardiologist who I've known for years. And I had just taken my mom there like a month before. And I walk in. His name's Dr. Manella. He's in Shady Side. And I walk in, and Dr. Manella, so he does an EKG and echo first on me, and he's looking at the screen, looking at the nurse, looking at me. I'm sitting down behind him, and he's looking at the screen, and he goes, run that back again. And he tells the girl, run it back again.
That you don't want to hear.
Like he's watching it. Yeah, he's watching.
You don't want to hear run it back.
Run it back one more time. He goes, no, hold it right there. Stop right there. And he looks at it, and he goes, he goes, I could call this normal. He said, I could. He said, but I know your family. I know you. I know your history. Wow. And he goes, let's go ahead and do a stress test. It's not going to hurt anything.
He could have called it.
He said, I
normal.
could call this normal.
That's amazing.
So that's what really.
That's scary.
Yeah, because any other cardiologist might have called it normal. But he goes, I know you. I know your mother, your brother, your family, your history. You're type 1 diabetic since age 3.
Right.
He goes, something's going on in there. I have a hunch. He goes, let's go ahead and just do stress test. Not going to hurt anything. Let's just see how you do. I did the stress test, failed miserably.
Really?
Okay, miserably. I didn't last a minute on that stress test. He stopped it right away, and he said, I'm right. There is something going on in there, and we have to get in there and figure it out and sort it out. And I said, well, what does that mean? He
Yeah.
goes, it means we got to do a cardiac catheterization, which is a cath.
He's got to go in
heart
and see
cath.
something.
Yeah. So he's got to get in there, and the cath can really show what's going on, how much blockage, where it is, the percentage of the blockage, and everything like that. He gets in there with the cath. I go in for the cath the next morning.
Yeah.
He gets in there. I'm not even in there a minute. He pulls right back out, comes out into the recovery area there, because I was lightly sedated. My wife's standing there, and he says, listen, he said, I thought there was something going on in there, and there is. He said, you got 4 arteries over 90% blocked. Your widowmaker is 99.87.
What? 99.87.
He said, you know what? He said, we are going to have you brought over to, so an ambulance took me to, he said, we're going to bring you over to Presby.
Yeah.
And he said, I got the best surgeon in town, Dr. Yoon.
Okay.
And this guy's the best surgeon money can buy. And he goes, he said, put your faith in us. He said, we're going to take good care of you. And he said, you need this done.
Yeah.
So you see, you're hanging on by a thread. He said, literally, he said, your heart is actually making its own bypasses right now. He said, the heart is an amazing thing. Your heart will do that.
It has resilience.
Your heart will make its own bypasses. It will go around blockage. It'll do its own thing until it doesn't.
Okay.
And then
it's it.
You're screwed. Yeah.
And you're missing a lot more gigs.
Yes, a lot more gigs.
But you walk out that door.
Yeah.
We may not have you here right now, obviously.
Right.
98.8.
99.8. It was like almost 99.9.
You can't even
blocked.
fathom how that's just a
completely occluded. The other ones were like 94, 92,
that was just bad
96. I mean, like, oh my.
But still,
I have a bigger question for you.
Yeah.
Because I had a similar story, but it was with cancer, my kidney.
and I wanted you to tell your
Ironically,
story too.
we don't need to, but ironically, just like you, when I started to urinate blood a little bit, the very next day I just happened to have a doctor's appointment.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay. Yes. Again. So here's my question for you, because people have asked me this question. Your trainer said to you, hey, something's not right. And you said, oh, well, I'm going to see my cardiologist in 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
If you did not have that appointment, do you think you would have made an appointment?
I don't know.
And I know that's a tough...
It depends on what my trainer... If my trainer had said, when's your next cardiology appointment? And I said, I don't know. I don't really have one. And he would maybe have said... Maybe you should make one, but just to get checked out.
But that may be
because I can tell you, I would not have made an appointment.
Really?
Yeah.
Because when I went for that annual physical, and the doctor said to me, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yeah, everything's fine."
I
didn't even say anything.
I know, John. I wasn't having dramatic symptoms.
Same with me.
I really wasn't. I mean, I got a little out of breath.
I just wondered.
No, but that's why I want to spend this show talking about not only Mark's, but I want yours too, because I want if somebody out there listening, if this can help one person who's sitting there thinking, you know what, I do have a little bit of, something's not right.
Maybe I shouldn't screw around.
Maybe tomorrow
I have been getting out of breath
to the doctor and whatever it is, or a little blood or this or that, and you've been pushing it off. If you're listening right now, then this may be the the message to call. But anyway, so you're on a tape.
I was justifying everything. I was going. It's like, weren't you having any symptoms? He goes, are you getting like out of breath going up steps? I go, of course I am. I said, I'm overweight and I'm out of shape.
You're just thinking.
So I didn't think it was anything.
Middle age. Yeah, whatever.
Right. I'm freaking 9 years old. Like,
whatever.
That's got to be normal.
You can reason it away.
Yeah, I reasoned it away, and then it was a good.
So let's go.
Really good thing I had that appointment.
Let's go to you sitting there or laying there, and they look at you and they say, "Hey, Mark, it's not going to be a stint. You're not going to make Jimmy's show like we thought you were in a week. This is going to be a quadruple bypass." What were you thinking? Honestly, what was going through your mind?
I didn't think it was going to be anything. I really thought. My wife was in town. She ran a marathon the weekend before.
So that was a blessing too.
And that was a blessing too, because she's usually in LA. So my wife was in town, Cindy, and she goes, what's this? She didn't go to the cardiologist with me, but when I told her, I have to have a cath, a cardio cath, she goes, well, I won't go, because she had plans to go to Nashville. She had to go to Nashville, and she was going to go back to LA. And I said, nah, go to Nashville. Don't worry. I said, they're going to do a cath. I said, wait. maybe a stent or two. I said, how bad could it be? I said, because my brother had a cath I don't know, 6 months earlier, and nothing. They got in there and they came right back out. And
stents are very popular.
And I thought maybe a stent. Honestly,
stents.
I go, how bad could it be, hon? I go 4 or 5 days. I'll be back on my feet, no problem. And she's like, I don't know. She goes, I'm not comfortable going to Nashville. I think I'm going to cancel the trip,
right.
And I said, well, I said, you do what you want. I said, but I don't see this being a serious thing. So she goes in, with me
until you're
the morning
cold.
of the cath, and to our surprise, next thing you know, I'm in an ambulance going my way to Presby.
It's scary, though.
And it was very scary. And I don't even know. I mean, luckily, I really wasn't even... I think being with my mom at the doctor, and, he had asked me, are you seeing anybody out in, L.A.?
Right.
And I was like, no. I said, I'll make an appointment. He goes, yeah, make an appointment. Come on in. I'll check you out. He said, you should get it done every year. He said, once a year. Just do your due diligence on yourself. Yep. And he's a great doc, though, man. Dr. Manella. He's just
I'm so happy
tremendous.
You're okay, Mark. You're one of the closest
Oh,
friends
me
and
too.
family. And I was so shocked because you're so healthy, and like I said, I go to LA and there's always some new thing Mark's taking me to. He took me to this thing, this cryogenic thing, man.
Cryotherapy.
So we go in there. Mark, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think it's something fun.
They make you put a robe on. It's like
a spa. It's like
a spa.
Am I going to get a massage in some chilly room? I don't know what this is.
They do red light therapy.
Very excited.
Yeah. I go to a place in Sewickley now too. That's great.
You found one.
I got to turn you on.
All right,
they got a Himalayan salt room and everything down there.
Mark
it's called. Yeah, I know. It's called
he
Victory.
hangs with the beautiful people.
Yeah,
Mark's like
Victory Float Lounge. They do floating. Victory Float Lounge in Sewickley. Look it up. They're phenomenal people there. It's a husband and wife that own one. They have one in Lawrenceville and one in
Mark's my
Sewickley.
Deepak Chopra. He's my
but yeah, I take you to the one in L.A. though.
And you're in a tube.
Jim never done it. He'd never done
I've never done it.
Kip in a strip. What do we do? So it's like I'm in a tube. My head's out of the tube. There's this young woman.
Put him like in a little chamber.
And there's just her head sticking out. And there's this young woman there.
Yeah, pretty
and
girls.
I go, always pretty girls. And I said, well, how long is this thing? She goes, 3 minutes. I said, oh, that's easy. It's minus 279. Minus 279.
Yeah.
I am in pain. My thighs feel like popsicles. I'm crying almost. And
it's really not.
I am done.
It's cold.
I want out 12 seconds in.
And they talk to you. They have the pretty girl ask you, what? So what are you going to do the rest of your day? They try to get your... It's like
she messed with my
it's like a little Jedi mind shit.
She goes, oh, I did this morning. I went to 3 minutes.
My Uncle
easy.
Jimmy did it. Remember I told you?
I know. He's not.
Wait, you're standing in this tube? Or are you laying?
And I'm like,
standing.
And you're almost ready to get out. We're like, I can't take it. And she goes, you have 30 seconds. You can do it. I'm like, okay. So I do it. And it is so painful. I can't tell you how painful it is.
Oh.
But when you're done.
Yeah. First time, maybe
I felt great for 3 days.
Yeah. You sleep really good after.
I'm talking, I felt euphoria.
What it does, I mean,
for 3
really...
days.
Athletes have been doing this forever. Okay, they have cryo machines. They got some
inflammation.
really high tech stuff. They used to use liquid hydrogen. Now they use there's an electric bed. These booths.
So it's not water.
No. It's just like it's like steam sort of, but it's a cold steam, like like dry ice kind of.
Think of minus
279. But they get it really cold there. They keep the. But what it does is it's a all natural way, of course, of lowering and removing literally
inflammation, right?
Every little bit of inflammation in your body, all of your extremities, your joints, your
and how often do you do this, Mark?
I would do it.
Twice a week,
if I could,
if
I could, I would do it 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 times a week. If
I
could,
right.
if I had access to one here like that, but I don't. I do the cold plunge instead,
right,
at Victory, and
which is good. The cold plunge. This thing,
the cold plunge is cool too. But I think it's a lot more difficult than the bed. I mean, and it's only 2 minutes, by the way. It's not 3. It's 2.
I felt like 3.
2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It felt like 3 days. I couldn't even
3
make
hours.
it. But
like
you know what though? You feel. I'm not kidding. You feel like 10 years younger when you walk out of this thing.
You do.
So I did it twice or 3 times. We went 3 times.
There is a little sense of euphoria. Like there's this, because it triggers, endorphins and stuff like that, serotonin in your body. It's just, it's a natural thing. But then it lasts. Like you will sleep like a baby for the next night or two, and
the cold plunge scares me a little bit. This cold,
and then it has a cumulative effect too. The more you do it, you do it a couple times a week, and it's just like, wow, man. Yeah, so I bought a big package out there with my buddies at Mend Cryotherapy.
Mark
in Santa Clarita.
He does this all the time. We'll always find
my buddies. They're brothers, man. They own this place called Mend Health and Wellness now, because they got a lot of other treatments. They do the pressure boots that you put on, those pressure things.
Oh, yeah.
They do like pressure therapy. Yeah. They do.
This guy's on the cutting edge.
They have a bed. They have actually 2 beds of the PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, which is phenomenal. Look that up. That is like some space age shit right there. Let me tell you.
Get your cells growing. It regenerates your cells.
Michelle does that with the Beamer mat.
Yes.
But I want to get back to a point you made earlier in the podcast where you said if one person hears this.
Yeah, John.
You know that our Jim McCullough from the Needs Hotel Band has the exact same story as Mark.
Right.
Wow.
To Jim's credit, it was in the middle of the night. I think he got up to go to the bathroom, as us old guys do. Mm-hmm. Felt chest pain. Okay. Woke his wife up and said, I think we should go to the hospital.
Okay. Yeah.
3 days later, he's triple bypass.
Okay.
Wow.
All right?
Wow.
Most dudes, 99.9 dudes,
just go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or most guys say, I'm fine. I got that cardio.
Take a couple of
cardiologist.
Don't play Hell Hero. Right?
You know what? I got a chance to go play guitar.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll go away.
And they're gone because we all have friends we've lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you sit there and you say, I wonder if that guy felt. Of course he felt that situation months, if not weeks earlier.
Yeah.
When you had yours, John, did you go? How did you push it off a long time, or
not at all? I had no clue. I was urinating blood, and this might sound silly, guys.
It could be an infection.
But I thought I was drinking too much red wine. It was Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I was hosting a lot of parties and got
too many beats.
Damn,
too many beats.
Yeah, I really did. And I will say,
super beats.
If I didn't have that appointment, I wouldn't have made the appointment. Okay, so from that appointment, which was like the day before, it was December 28th or 29th.
Right.
My kidney was removed less than 4 weeks later.
Wow.
Because the kidney cancer was so significant and so aggressive that's how quickly they moved.
But the miracle you told me was somehow they got all the cancer in one, taking out one kidney, which is crazy.
I had my margins were great.
Now,
when you hear people that are lost to kidney cancer, it's because the kidney cancer moves into their lungs. Yes. Okay. You don't even know.
Metastasizes very quickly.
You don't know. I had no issues at all.
Yeah.
Once it moves into the lungs, it's still called kidney cancer, but it's deadly.
Yeah.
Right? So I was that close.
If you don't get there in that moment or whatever, or you push it off, you're gonna end up.
Oh yeah, I'm not at this podcast.
It's both. John. Right. It's both a curse and a blessing.
Yeah.
But I had really what I felt were zero, things going on. Like I had zero symptoms.
Oh, really?
But you did say you were a little short of breath.
I was a little short of breath,
to
going up steps and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Walking,
but you're reasoning it away.
I'm reasoning it away. But the good part of that is, and Doc told me this after surgery, he said, listen, the good thing here is you didn't have a heart attack, so your heart is really healthy.
Good.
There's no heart damage whatsoever. He said, so that's really in your favor. You didn't have a stroke, so nothing happened. He said, we caught this pre-event, and you were headed for one.
Sure.
Straight for it. And he said, I don't know if it would have been days, weeks, months, could have been hours. He said,
sure, we
got you just in time. And so that was the blessing part
of
it. The bad part could have been, I was just explaining it away. Like we say, I have a friend, type 1 diabetic, Alfred Carducci in Steubenville. He passed away in his sleep. I believe that could have been me. I could have just been
It absolutely
in my
was.
bed.
Even worse, if we were on stage and you fell over and I'm working, going,
Yeah.
is that a new bit he's doing? What's Mark doing? The late
And
night
the dude,
bit.
he's a good friend of mine from
It's
grade
scary.
school
It
on.
happened.
and
It
we
happened to
both
a
had
dear friend of
diabetes.
mine.
Scary.
A drummer. It
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Stood up.
Because you're performing. We're on fight or flight. You're really, when you're performing. Your blood's
Right.
pumping. And so he stood up and it was it.
Stood up and went down.
That's what I mean.
And
So
it broke
yeah.
our. It was. We
Right.
were so devastated.
As-
50 years old. You
Right.
talk about in great shape. Same story. He stood up at a jam session. Said to the waitress, "Hey, could you get a club soda? I got some indigestion."
Yeah.
And that was
I
it.
got a little agita.
He was gone.
Wow.
So-
Oh, God.
Well, yeah.
Anyhow,
let me ask you this though. When I'm going to ask John, you faced mortality.
Sure,
Yeah.
you did.
Oh,
When
when they told me what they do, look up what they do.
It's
in
it's
an
a
open
lot
heart
of,
surgery.
There's a lot of work going on there, and they're ripping your chest open. It's
Right.
It's a heck of a
First off,
comeback.
yeah, chest, sternum cracked open.
Yeah.
They crack your ribs.
Everything's
everything.
out of your body.
Everything. They remove your heart and they
It's
put you on a
unbelievable.
heart-lung machine.
It's unbelievable.
miracle.
The machine is running your body. They're over next to you, essentially working on your heart.
Eating a ham sandwich.
Yeah, probably.
And they're
Listen to your
Can I
comedy.
get another cosmopolitan
Yeah,
over here?
this is fun. Let's take a break. Let's take a break and laugh at this side for a while. Then let's put it back. We're time for Mark.
And less. Oh my God, this is the best part about this. My friend Billy DeLellis, he was drummer in our band Astra for years.
Okay.
We played clubs together and whatever. So Billy D was also a respiratory therapist, and then he ran the heart-lung machine
Okay.
during these surgeries, these very
That's his job.
surgeries. Now, this is the funny part. This is how I know God. I mean, I don't know if you're spiritual out there, anybody, but I am very, very spiritual. I'm not super religious, but I'm very spiritual. I know God's fingerprints was all over this, and I definitely had some major guardian angels looking out for me. Honestly, I believe that. I truly believe that. But the thing was, I texted Billy D when I found out that I was going to have the surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. Just hours. There was I texted him and I said, Billy, I got to have quadruple bypass. And I knew that he had run the bypass machine in the past, and he's retired now. But I said, what do you think? And he said, well, where are you having the surgery? I said, Presby. He goes, who's your surgeon? Before I could text the guy's name, because I didn't even know the surgeon's name.
Right.
Before I could tell him, he texts back, I hope Yoon. Like that. And that's Dr. Yoon.
I thought you said, because it's a machine, I thought
I hope you had the 6-cylinder.
Yeah, I hope you.
I hope you do. I hope you got the turbo. I hope you got the turbo.
I hope you get the turbo negotiator.
And if you could get that, that'd be good.
And you'll be good.
If you have a used one, please question you if you have a used one. I'll get you one. I
thought you were
I'll get you one of them.
I thought he was going to ask you.
I hope you got the Marvel 340.
Get that sucker.
That thing's a
It's like
lifesaver.
it's got 2 jumper cables. You'll see it. Look for the 2 jumper cables. Put it on one artery, other one, boom.
I feel like we're on car talk
That's
now.
great. Yeah.
car talk.
Heart talk.
Isn't it nice we can laugh about it?
I'll tell you
That was
what,
the question,
I am
though.
so glad.
Facing has it changed?
right.
How has it changed you? Or has it not changed?
Now it really confirms a philosophy that I've had for a very, very long time, and that is that which does not kill us only makes us funnier.
There you go.
Because it really does. You have a story. You have something.
You don't worry as much.
I don't have a lot of
about
material.
things.
It's still too soon.
Right, but you will.
But I will. I'll
material.
probably write a song or two about.
Well, you'll be back on
the
doing
doctors
on the show
and the
doing it.
nurses, and I had this whole thing with my. I had very few, if any, complications of the surgery. I got through it with like a breeze, really, all things considered.
Rest that voice.
I was up and walking a day later. Yeah.
You were moving
That's
quick.
all I'm going to say.
I was moving quick though. I'm walking around right away. I
was
get
so
right out of
important.
bed. They get you right up now, which is great. So I had very few side effects or what you would call complications.
Right.
The one that I had, and it sucked, and I don't know, this is kind of gross to talk about, but I couldn't pee.
Well,
I could not.
Really?
I couldn't pee. I couldn't
Wow.
pee. They go, we can't let you home Go home until you pee.
That's right.
They pulled my catheter out like 3 times.
Oh my God.
In the ICU, and they had to keep putting it back in. And I was like, "You got to be shitting me!" I go, "Please let me pee." And it's hard to pee in the. I said, "Let's just let me go home. I'll pee. I'll draw."
Do they sit there? Do they sit there and say, "Can I watch?"
Yeah,
what they say. And
that's what they say.
Really?
They want to know. They go, "Well, I go, can I have some privacy?" And I'm all hooked up to these.
There's no
things,
privacy.
And I go, "I can't pee."
Do they think you're going to lie about it?
I'm a shy peer, and so then get this, man. I have a cousin. This is why this is such a blessing being back here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This is one more. That's my underlying.
True. We have the best hospitals in the country.
We do.
Yes, we do.
And we do. And I have family members here.
Right.
I have probably 4 or 5 cousins that are retired doctors and surgeons. I mean, Marguerite Bonaventura, one of my cousins, a brilliant lady. She ran McGee Women's Hospital for years. I have another cousin who is the head of the ER, and another cousin who's ready for this? He's a urologist.
So he knew.
Retired urologist.
I would have called him first.
I called him immediately.
There you
I
go.
said, Ronnie, I can't pee.
What'd he say? Think of
Ronnie
a fountain.
Yeah. I'm going to give you some medical advice. No, he said, Mark
Listen
Eddie.
to
He calls me
waterfalls.
Mark Eddie. Everybody in my family calls me Mark Eddie. They don't just call me Mark. Yeah, everybody says Mark Eddie. He goes, listen, he says, you'll be okay. He said, sometimes it takes a little while. He said, just send you home, and you could do the self-cath at home. I go, oh, no. I said, Ron, I can't do that.
Yeah.
This is Ron Sircone, Dr. Ron Sircone. And he goes, Mark, you can do it. I go, Ron, I cannot stick a thing in there. He said, your wife can do it. I go, I don't know about this.
You did take a vow.
So he says, listen, go home. He said, if you don't pee by tomorrow, he said, call me. And I had no idea. He still has an office up in Wexford.
Okay.
And so
he would come
still
out and
has
help?
an office. He says, I'll let you see one of the PAs. He says, I'm retired now, but I still have the office there and da-da-da-da-da. So he hooks me up with this phenomenal PA, urology PA.
Okay.
And I mean to tell you, she's like a Victoria's Secrets model.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
That'll make it easier.
Okay, and
That's
she's
not going to make you nervous.
Yes. Yeah. It was just...
What happened there?
Okay. So, so here's what happened. Okay.
I'm curious.
So I go with my wife. My wife takes me, thank God, and I'm sitting there. And I go in there, and this Danielle is her name. I can't remember her last name.
You haven't whizzed yet?
Let's refer to her as Victoria's Secret.
I went in the next day because I didn't pee overnight.
Okay.
They let me go. It was like in the evening. I didn't get back to my house until like 6 o'clock. So it's like 6, 7 in the morning. I still haven't peed. I called the office. They go, come right in. So I went in. They had to drain my bladder.
Oh my God.
Here I go.
Right.
Now, this is like my 4th or 5th attempt,
okay.
or rather, what do they call that? A cath.
Yeah.
So she had to put. Here she goes. She's this beautiful girl.
Right.
God bless her. She gives me. She
That's the old
drains
cath.
my bladder.
Right.
Right there in the room, and she's like, now, do you want to just leave this in and go home with it, or do you want to like try again tonight and then we can come back tomorrow? And I said, I don't know. I said,
It's a hard call.
Let's try. She says, I'll tell you what. She said, go home. It's early. It's morning right now. Go home. If you don't pee by 5 o'clock, come back in and we'll drain it again and you'll be good. And maybe this will start stimulating to get it moving, right?
I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, this is a thing. Yeah.
It was a thing for me,
it's
too.
a thing you too, John.
Because any major surgery.
So I go
but I know
home
I thought you just go and...
Yeah. And then afternoon comes. I still haven't peed on my own.
My God.
I still haven't done it. And I'm not jamming a cath in there. I'm just not doing it. And so I go back, and Danielle is wonderful physician's assistant, beautiful girl. And she goes, listen, I'm going to have to teach you to self-cath. And I go,
oh my God.
I can't do it. I said, I cannot grab my thing and
do that.
No, I said, I just can't do it. She goes, well, then your wife can do it.
Oh
and Cindy, my wife, you know my wife.
Yeah.
My wife's a biker, right? She's a wild woman.
She's
she goes,
beautiful.
I can do it.
She's Victoria's Secret too.
I can do it.
She can do it. I can do it.
I go, okay. I trust her. Right. She can do it. He goes, okay. I'm gonna teach you how to cath your husband. Oh my God. I have to now.
Do they have like
just
a little,
think of how embarrassing this is.
Do they have
right?
like a little?
I'm in front of my wife who's gorgeous. I'm in front of this Victoria's Secret's model.
Are they doing it on you, or they got like a little model? They're showing like a little plastic.
No, they're
they're on it, man. I had to whip them down again.
Wow.
Pull my junk out.
You got to go
right?
for it. You're going for it.
This is a family show. We want to
I'm sorry. Yeah, anybody who's offended,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
very medical, though.
It is medical.
It's all
very medical.
We're on the doctors.
This is our medical show.
She goes, the first thing she says, it made me laugh my butt off. She goes, okay, now Cindy, the first thing you do is grab a hold of it. And Cindy grabs it. And she goes, no. She goes, girl, grab it. Like, she said,
hold on.
Grab it like you know what you're doing.
Okay, there you go. That's the way. Hey, that's what I want. I want it done right
grab
the first
it like
time.
you mean it. She keeps
grab it like you mean it.
Grabbing it like you mean
Good.
it.
Good doctor.
And then she goes, and then you just start it. It's lubricated, and you just go straight in, no stopping along the way, right into the bladder, and you empty it out. Then she gives my wife a handful of these catheters that are like this long. Yeah, they're like 2 feet long, man. They're like big.
Oh my God!
And she goes, now you take these with you. Now you know how to do it. You've got it down. Now if you need to she needs to cath you for a couple of days. She can do that. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. Yeah. I went home that afternoon.
You went. You went.
I went.
Thank God.
By that evening, I had emptied my bladder on my own.
Oh my God!
Which was
you had to be so happy.
I'd
have been in tears. I'd have been in tears. Like,
I mean, it was a combination.
You should have called me. Why didn't you call me with happiness?
It's this sensation of being catheterized is undescribable,
I don't
right,
John?
I don't know. And have you had one?
No, thank
God.
God.
Oh my God!
We don't
Thank
want
God. You don't want it.
No, I don't think so.
And not only that, but then you've got this whole thing where you've got this gorgeous doctor, or even in the hospital, there were these beautiful nurses, and they're God bless them, but it's a little, as a man, I mean, you're a little bit, come on.
God.
That's my private area.
But having a bunch of them driving home, I've been crying, going, oh my God.
And they do it like it's nothing. They just, it's not
1, 2, 3.
It's 7 of these already this
morning.
My
Come
God.
on. Thank God. I didn't know it was that hard. So
there's some people that live a life with,
they have
after
to
surgery.
With bags. Well, not just after surgery, that they have.
When you had surgery, did you have trouble?
A similar story.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, but they wouldn't release me until I could go on my own.
Right back,
you have
to.
Really? Is that what it is?
Especially since my kidney was removed.
Right. It would be, even
they
more
said,
so.
when you can go on your own, we'll send you out.
And that's it.
Thankfully, I did not go through that. I was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days
then you were able to go.
See, I just wanted to get the hell out of there. I really did. I wanted to get the heck out of there.
Well, at the time, I didn't have a wife. I didn't have, I lived here by myself.
To help. Yeah.
I mean, my son came over and stayed with me for about 3 weeks after I got home.
Oh, man, that's
John, did it change your viewpoint on things? Like,
well, it did tremendously because, I was a bachelor.
Yeah.
And that whole prior year, I'm not proud of my behavior. And I remember I was working with a therapist.
Okay.
And I remember this distinctly. She said, you need to be knocked down a few pegs.
Okay.
Well, guess what?
That did it.
Cancer knocks you down more than a few pegs.
Oh,
it sure did. It sure did. And what can you say?
Wow.
It's a whole different perspective. And I distinctly remember that, I need to, at the time, let's see, that was 7 years ago. So I was like 55 or whatever, 56. And I need to get my shit together, and I need to just focus on some things. And I was prayerful. And guess who came along a month later?
The blessing of your life.
Michelle. A month later, out of the blue.
And that's something.
Yeah. And so
you guys are just
thank you.
Inspirational.
God works in
But 2 miracles, yeah.
Most inspiring couple that I know.
Oh, I don't know about that, but thank you,
seriously,
brother.
I love you guys. I really do.
Well,
Michelle is just
she's so sweet.
Beautiful, wonderful. You are too.
Dogs. She told me 2 things on our first date. She said, first of all, I want to make it real clear. Do you love dogs? I lied and said yes. Because I never had a dog, but it took me like less than 2 weeks to love her dog.
House trained.
And then she said, I want to tell you I have muscular dystrophy and I don't know what my future holds. And I remember after our second or third date, she said, okay, we've gone on a few dates. Before we go on any more dates, I want you to think about this. Think about the fact that I have muscular dystrophy. It's progressive. And how about we just pause this for about a week to 10 days and you give this all thought, and it's cool. She said, if you come back to me and say, hey, I don't know if I want to be part of that unknown future, There's no,
wow.
It's cool. She said, I don't want to be a burden on anybody.
Wow. Joe.
And I did give it a lot of thought. Of course,
Yeah.
the way with her soul and her heart. And,
Right.
you know, you guys have come to know her and Jim's come to know her.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer.
No, it's a no-brainer.
I said, I'm in.
She's beautiful. She's wonderful. You know
Wow.
what? I've told her this
And funny.
before.
She's funny.
very funny.
she's
But I've told her
hysterical.
this before. If I'm having a bad day, I think of Michelle. I think if Michelle can do it,
Yeah,
I
you
can
have.
do it.
Yeah.
And it means a
Buy
lot
this.
to her. You've said that to her
And
more than
it's-
once.
It's sincere.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean that. I think of her. I think, okay, you know, there's challenges in life, and she faces them every day. And you guys are survivor, cancer survivor,
Yeah.
and heart disease survivor.
Oh yeah, and diabetes. You know, all
Yeah.
my life.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a lot of people out there that had to hear this today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
know?
going to tell you a funny Michelle story. You guys
Please.
love it.
Yeah.
So we go to the Pirate game last week, and she's beginning to use a wheelchair for events like that, which is great.
Yeah.
She's safer.
Yeah.
I like it better.
Yeah.
So we get to the gate, and the security guy has the wand. He says to her, "No, you can just sit there." He said, "I'm just going to wand you gently." She said, "Oh shit, I was hoping you'd frisk me." He didn't know what to say. He went, "Just come in."
That's classic Michelle.
That's Michelle. Oh yeah, I was hoping you'd frisk me.
That's
So, hey, Mark, a quick question.
man.
I dealt with what they call post-operative depression. Have you dealt with any of that? You don't.
not-
It just comes upon you.
I know.
But you haven't.
Maybe a little bit. But you know what keeps going? I think I don't know this for sure, but I feel like I just have such an immense amount of gratitude for the way that everything happened.
Right.
I feel so blessed, and I
Good.
feel that I don't know. I just haven't really felt that deep dark depression. You know, like
Because
I mean,
it's biological.
it's
It's
common.
not. It's not mental. It's not
No.
emotional.
No.
And I told Jim this,
Yes,
who went
John.
through the open heart surgery. I said,
Yeah.
Jim, I want to warn you, and he has dealt with it.
Wow.
And he was thankful because I said it's physical
Yeah.
because they've cracked open.
Right.
It isn't
Yeah.
like in your brain or in your heart.
Right.
I don't.
It's just
I
a
mean,
recovery.
yes, and it's common.
You're mending.
And
Well,
I struggled with it for 3 or 4 months.
So
And
we
you know
talked
what?
about that. You said
Yes.
3 or 4 months, right, John?
Yes.
This is another.
And
this
I
is-
felt grateful and appreciative too.
You
But
know,
it was something physically, like you said.
Oh
your
my
whole
God,
body's
it was
your
debilitating for
body's
me.
recalibrating in a way as you're
Yes.
healing everything.
So yeah, I don't mean to get.
No,
I
it's
can't believe that I
People out there
didn't
to hear.
that I didn't say this earlier, but this is another preemptive blessing from moving back here to Pittsburgh. My cousin Ronnie, the retired urologist, recommended me to a concierge doctor, a direct primary care, what they call, and her name is Natalie Gentili, Dr. Gentili, and marvelous practice, by the way, that she has. You can look it up, directcarepgh.com. Really sweet doctor. And she noticed right away that there were some. Now, this is probably almost 2 years ago. It was about a year and a half ago. And she, through talking to me, she noticed some signs of depression. She's like, you know, you're describing some fatigue. She said, you're talking about, you're a little bit, you just break out into tears because there was times when I'm thinking about the weight of my mom. And then I had my aunt who was sick, and I was taking care of my uncle, Jimmy, who passed away. And,
Right, Uncle Jimmy.
and all this just was, and then I'm away from my wife, and my children are scattered around the country. And I was feeling some heavy load, you know, and she noticed it right away. You know, she put me on an anti-anxiety med, which I was not sure about, to be honest. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. She's like, listen, just try it. I think you need a little baseline just to help
just
you
a little bit.
that little bit. Now that was, you know, over a period of a year before my surgery. And to think about
Obviously,
it,
so it
that
helped level you
probably
off.
helped me
Sure did.
immensely calibrate my brain. And, you know, I'm really just realizing this right here with this conversation because I really don't even think about it. Every morning I take my, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, good. We don't want you to think
you
about
take
it.
your meds
I
and
mean,
all that,
I,
whatever. But I mean, it's a mild dose of, you know, a popular, you know, anti-anxiety, and it's not a big deal, but yet I think it made a huge world of difference. And Dr. Gentili, I got to thank her. And then I have another concierge doctor, Dr. Hogan, who's in Sewickley now, who took over my care. It's a little closer because Dr. Gentili's downtown, so it was a proximity issue for me. And Dr. Hogan takes great care of me as well. And he agreed. And He said that was brilliant.
I like the fact that you're hanging a lot in Sewickley.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you have a new friend named Biff. He probably has a friend named Biff in Sewickley.
Biffy, Buffy.
He's going to have a sweater next time.
He should, tied around his neck.
Tad, are we going to go hit some balls today?
Well, we're glad because we got fun stuff. You guys have some shows coming up in the future.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I have a big theater show in November. It's only a few months away, really, if you think about it. The night before Thanksgiving at the Strand Theater. I'm going to have Mark come up on stage.
Love the
Strand. You got to come
That's
out.
such a cool place.
It's another fun one. That's a Strand Theater. So
if you haven't been to the Strand Theater, folks,
it's so intimate. You're on
seriously.
Top of it.
There is not a bad. Every seat in the house is about 25 max feet from the stage.
You can touch the balcony.
You're like right there.
Jim, didn't we go there to see?
One of the best.
You just filmed the Russian comedian.
Yakov Smirnov was there.
Oh, yeah.
Not too long ago.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I saw those pictures on Facebook.
You will love that theater, the Strand Theater. So get your tickets now.
Very
That's
unique.
Coming up in only a few months. It's hard to believe we're saying how quick the summer's gone.
Yep.
But
our producer, Bob, here.
We have a incredible event coming up. The three of us, for John and Mark and myself, we're going to do a charity for the West Deer volunteer firemen. And I got to tell you, there is nothing more noble than a volunteer fireman. I'd like to help them as much as I can, because in these boroughs that we have all these different boroughs around Pittsburgh, and even a Pittsburgh firefighter, but the borough, these men volunteer. They literally volunteer. They don't get. There's no money involved, people. As you know, they volunteer their time and risk their lives to help our community. Yeah. So anytime we get a chance to help,
is this a Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh thing, or is it like this all over the country?
I don't know to say through.
I always wondered
I think it's all over the country
because it's quite common around here. Around here,
it's a big deal, and it's they save lives and volunteer. So to help them out,
the EMTs.
Thank you guys, because that's my neighborhood, and they're good guys. And
what's easy? October 4th, we're going to do a concert for these people who give all the time, all year long. West Deer Volunteer Fireman Fire Hall. It's right down the road here from John's studio. But October 4th, John and Mark and myself are going to be there.
We're going to start promoting that. Bobby Zigarelli will be with us.
Bob's
doing a little better.
Love Bob.
All proceeds will benefit the West Deer. What is it? The West Deer
Volunteer Fire Department.
Volunteer Fire
Thank
Department.
you, fellas,
the whole deal
for being there.
That's going to be tremendous. And you know what? I hope everyone can come out to that too, because Mark's going to be with me at the Strand, but October, it's going to be like his first time in a while doing a show, and that's what's interesting.
I know.
When we had Michelle's birthday party out here at John's, we did some karaoke, and you said
that was the
first time on stage.
Yep.
And John said, I remember he said, "Don't push it."
Don't push
it. And you said, because I didn't understand when you were saying, John. Then you said, that affected your voice by pushing it.
Since my cancer surgery, I've had 2 vocal cord procedures.
It was because of that?
And I say because I rushed it back. Really? I was singing. My surgery was January 20th. My first gig was April 1st, and it was too soon.
Really?
It was way too soon.
So
basically, I only gave myself 2 months.
Wow. So you got to just take your time and evolve into it, and so we have a plan now. We're slowly getting Mark into it. We're going to do the 5th, and then we'll do a little bit more there, and then January we're going to do the City Winery again, and so Mark is going to come back, and John and I will be there with you, Mark. So looking forward to it, man. Thanks for being on the show, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You got to come back again now. Next time with guitar and
bring the guitar.
And it'll be time to jam again.
Yeah, it won't be quite as serious.
Yeah, I know, but you know
talking
what?
About our bodies.
If anyone out there's listening, I wanted the show because I thought if anyone out there is listening and they're going through something where maybe I should get checked. Get checked. Also, you're going through depression. Go.
Yeah, get a mental health checkup, man.
You're not alone if you're depressed.
Oh no, you're not.
You know, so go out. There's a place called Anchor Point in North Hills. They have free therapy. They own Anchor Point, North Hills, for therapy and stuff. But there's places all around the city. You're not alone out there if you're suffering.
Talk to your doctor. If you have a good relationship with your primary your doctor, a good primary doctor will spot this as well, and they can do a lot, like Dr. Gentili did.
We're all in life together, so everyone has different challenges and things. So we're going to share some of those today with everyone. So I appreciate and thank you very much, guys, for opening up and telling us about your lives. And we'll see you next time. Jim Krenn, No Restrictions. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Mark Eddy as our guest. John Bento, of course, Jim Pitulski.